Good morning. So, today in disaster management, we are going to learn about urban disaster in Delhi, a case study in of Delhi. Okay. So, what is urban disaster? Any calamity or or extreme event that happens in urban settlements in urban region is called urban disaster. Okay. So, we are all aware of what is the definition of disaster, right? But we there are many categories of disaster, various classifications of disaster, like man-made disaster, natural disaster, disaster based on the onset of of the event, like sudden onset of the of a hazard, or slow onset of a hazard. Sudden onset of a hazard is like earthquake, volcanic eruption. These are sudden events, or cyclonic. These are sudden events which suddenly comes up and has a mass destructive effect on a short period of time. Similarly, slow onset of disasters can be based on what do you call uh, uh, drought, cold wave, then you have Lu, heat waves. All these are example of slow onset of disaster, where disaster is onsetting on us with the slow effect, with gradual effect of, like every year, there are places in our country which are breaking its record of time, of temperature with every year. Like if last year the highest temperature was 48 degree, so this year it can go up to 15 or 49 degree, the highest of for the last past 20 years. It can be recorded like that. But every year that change, slow change in the temperature is one of the example of showing the slow onset of disasters are like global warming, climate change, and everything. All right. So, urban disaster is whenever any extreme event happens in an urban setup. Right, urban setup is where you have 70% of the people who are involved in tertiary based activities. The population is of has to be beyond certain number of people. The settlement and density of the population is quite high. So, and the activities are different from that. It like in an Indian setup, urban population activity is not agrarian activities, but it is more of a tertiary activity, wherein in rural sectors of our country is a completely based on agrarian activities, right? So, a city like Delhi, population density in some areas are often exceeding about you know uh, 1,50,000 people per square kilometer. So imagine the level of density of people which is residing in the area of density in Delhi. So the demand of land in the city has led to the use of marginal lands, and has also made it more prone to natural hazards such as building or doing construction activities in the floodplains, unstable slopes, and reclaimed land unstable for habitation can be seen in these areas. So while deteriorating from environment and local ecosystem became the direct fallout of uncontrollable expansion, the greater vulnerability to disaster it has led to. So moreover, most disasters have more complex ramification in the urban areas, like fire, building collapse, uh, fire accidents, building collapse, and urban flooding. Then you have diseases, that is making the vulnerability of the urban area in more acquired in a new dimension. So the vulnerability is increasing in the urban sector is more. Oh, why? Because of the population density, and the land use demand is so much high. So in fact, the inherent complexity of urban settlement results in the city that are often more vulnerable than their surrounding rural areas. Okay. So most prominent among the disasters striking urban settlement frequently are floods, then we have fire, then you have if it is an earthquake prone area, so earthquakes, building collapse, uh, effects of certain cyclonic storms, landslides are certain examples of things that can happen in urban settlements. So, urban seismic risk is a rapidly increasing, and particularly in developing countries where a number of mega cities are growing. Okay, so all over the world, the number of mega cities are also growing. Mega cities are when your population is exceeding a, a particular population of that city is reaching a particular level. Okay, and cities that are vulnerable to disaster, particularly to earthquake, which can strike any city suddenly without any warning. So, any of the cities which are settled on the earthquake-prone zones take place in a can make it more vulnerable to building collapses, and more people are at risk of losing their lives. All right. So the places in large cities that demands can be tremendous both in human and economic terms. So the disaster hitting in a urban setup can be both be disastrous for what do you call uh, 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 both in the terms of economy as well as in terms of, just a minute, what is happening here. All right. So now urban disasters are those disasters which strike urban area very frequently, like floods, fire, earthquakes, landslides, like cyclones, and man-made urban disasters like hygiene related problems, diseases are coming up from you know uh, slums and dumps of the urban areas. Then education in the in the low level of education in the slum areas can lead to the lower level of awareness in the slum areas can lead to more prominent losses of life. Maybe it can be due to malnutrition or consumption of contaminated food and water. All right. Then you have road accidents, then you have chemical accidents, pollution due to vehicles and factories, terrorist attacks, bomb blast. Then you have both electronic and media exceeding its highlights from an event, making an event in a more larger context. All right. Uh, then we have let's understand the urban India and and the profile of the Delhi. All right, city, the case study that we have taken up. So India has experienced explosive urbanization. So it has past few decades, urban cities have exploded. Like 23 cities have over 1 million population in 1991. So about 271 cities had a population of about point 0.1 million population in the cities. So mega cities had about 23 mega cities had 1 million, and about 276 cities had a population of about 1 billion population. Okay, so 10 billion population. So both urban growth is a larger it is urban growth is more than happening in a planned manner. It is happening largely on an unplanned manner. So the population growth is becoming more unplanned manner, because it is attracting a lot of people from a marginal setup to come into urban area to further more earning and more economic gain, right? So that's why the urban growth is happening in an unplanned manner. So authorized density population unauthorized density of population colonies are coming up. So there are many unauthorized colonies and residential constructions that happens in the urban setup because of the large influx of people coming into the urban area for the looking out for the better economic opportunities. Now lack of basic amenities because of the there is more people which is coming out, the resources are limited, hence the basic amenities, the availability of the basic amenities to those people will be affected, because they will suppose it's an unplanned colony which has come out, so they will lack in sanitation, they will lack in health sectors in that area, they will lack in many other economic resources, or attaining to the essential resources in those areas will be difficult. All right. So relatively low standard of living also it is initiated in the unplanned and congested populated colonies. So urban society may lack resilience with and stand disruption of any force, extreme force that can hit. Okay. So a Delhi population exceeding about 14 million population, around 60% lives in formal housing and slums. So there is a large slum areas, unlike, just like Mumbai has the largest slum in the world. Similarly, every urban sector has certain slums, and these slums come from the inter-migratory population coming from the rural sectors in looking for the better opportunity in economy. So building code standards are also poorly implemented and compromised. So many buildings and other structures that are very old and weak are also not retrofitted because they want to pack as many as people in that area and keep on going in that set areas. So Delhi is a capital of being capital of this country. The state is spread over an area of about 1483 square kilometers. So according to Indian geography, the state is located at the center of the subcontinent, the center of the country, amidst of the range of Himalayas and the Aravalis. So it is just centrally placed between a Himalayan range and Aravali range in the country. So there is a part of Aravali which is reaching out the outskirts of Delhi also. So geography encompasses the location, climatic conditions, and vegetation. So as that, if this is a map of a Delhi region, where you have railways and road maps which is given here. Okay, this is a state boundary of Delhi. All right. Now, the state boundary of this uh, place is now location of Delhi. It is at a latitudinal and longitudinal location is about 23 and 77 degree north and east. The state stands at a northern part of the country. Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, and Rajasthan is the bordering states. Um, which shares the border with Delhi and the West are respectively. So the Delhi is a geographically divided state into three parts. That is Yamuna floodplains, all right, Delhi Ridge, Yamuna floodplains, and and the plain areas of the uh, uh, which has a which has been fertiled by the Yamuna river for a very long period. Now the Delhi Ridge is the most important characteristics of the state and is part of Aravali range. So Delhi Ridge is a part of a Aravali range which passes through Delhi. Okay. So if you see here, this map, this is the map which shows the entire area, where are the green patches, where are the roads, important roads, and power line, railway lines which is crossing the state. The vulnerability of this city is, uh, it is Delhi falls in a seismic zone of about 4 to 5. All right, the seismic zone degree, the the risk of this area is it falls in the zone 4 of earthquake. All right, so this is the second most vulnerable zone for or risk prone zone to earthquakes. Okay, so zone 4 will receive an earthquake or of a magnitude for about 7.5 and above. Okay, sorry, 7.5 to 8. So this magnitude is quite high. Although this area, because it is on the foothills of the Himalayas, and we know that the entire Himalayan range is a highly seismic zone areas, so it has a very high vulnerability to earthquakes. So political and economic hub of the India, the old and unauthorized constructions happens in this area. So vulnerable, or it is vulnerable to fire hazards. It is vulnerable to terrorist attacks, uh, then nuclear attacks, nuclear and biological problem, CBRN problem, that is nuclear, biological, and chemical problems can, and hazards can pertain in these areas because of the there is a thermal power station near, there was a, nuclear power station close by, there's a large extent of industrial sectors, so chemical explosions can happen. There is a India's largest medicine, health sector is there, that is the AIMS is the largest hospital, which is handling quite a lot of patients there. Then you have Indian Medical Council there, so they deal with a lot of medical equipments and issues in that region. So urban disaster in Delhi is going to be a very common phenomena. Every year there is an urban flooding which is happening. Every year you will hear about certain incidents of fire accidents. There have been many incidences of the disasters in this state. All right. So Delhi is a 14 million resident living in brewing in a crucial hazardous process. So it's a multi-hazard zone. So the possibility of accidental death, murder, fire, and people falling prey to various forms of road accidents, and air crash also, and fire accidents are very common. So like, let's we take up like, hazards are the, where it has caused a lot of losses. Okay, so they can be variables and worsen from mild to extensive way of hazards that can be in that area. So urban areas are the seabed of a new and complex socio-environmental arena for fostering an unprecedented and prematuration of a combination of old and new hazard that is perceived. So because urban sector, it is socio-economic dynamics and complexity, it has the old existing hazards of that area, like floodplain. It is a floodplain area. It has a, it is an earthquake prone zone. So it has both new hazards which is coming up and the old hazards which is already pertaining there, right? New hazards can be, related to urban or man-made hazards, right? The city is a static and homogeneity entity, because its land uses and population density and civic amenities and features shows a sharp change in the and contrast, right? So the flood and other hazard that take place at particular place, as they have special locations. So fire eruption only where the setting provides an opportunity to blaze, right? So hazards are not disrupted eventually, they converge in certain places where they can occur repeatedly. All right. So earthquakes in Delhi is one of the mega cities of the world, and with a population about 10 billion, and has been projected to become a second largest city in the country by about 2025. So in the next coming years, it is going to be the second largest city in the country. Both politically and economically, Delhi is one of the most important city in our country, and its ability to stand with the disaster is of a critical importance to the entire nation. So Delhi faces a several earthquake hazard due to its vicinity to the tectonically active Himalayan region. So we know that Himalayan region is tectonically active. It is very close to it. So entire Himalayan range and the Indo-Gangetic plain is prone to earthquake. So it is very close to that. It is on the Indo-Gangetic plain. So it is very highly prone to a high intensity of earthquakes receiving in these areas. So, in addition, there are several small faults existing very close to the city, and their activity may lead to a strong, ground of motion, earthquakes that can hit in the city. So past earthquakes around Delhi. Let's talk about the past earthquakes that has happened in Delhi. This is an entire figurehead of earthquakes that has happened. So damaging earthquakes have occurred in around Delhi since immemorial times. Like during, Mahabharat mentions, in Mahabharat text, it has been mentioned that the Kurukshetra region was, affected by earthquakes. They were, and then we have since recorded earthquakes since 1720s, 1800s, and 1900s, and also in the present times. So if you see this, the numbers, in 1720 there was a massive earthquake. In 1803 there was a massive earthquake. In 1819 there was another earthquake. In 1905 there was another earthquake. 1937, 45, 49, 1958, 60, 66, 75, 80, 94, and 99 had faced extreme earthquakes in these regions. So in the last 200 years, almost 25 earthquakes have had their own epicenters in closing to the proximity of the earth, Delhi. So this shows an occurrence of an earthquake in a very in every 8 years, or now it has also reduced to even 8 years. The proximity of earthquake hitting these areas are all, in a very frequent manner. The country is therefore is divided into 5 zones in the increasing order of seismic hazard. So taking it from 1 to zone 5, Delhi is placed in zone 4. Zone 1 is being the lowest damaging risk zone of earthquake, and zone 5 is being the highest damaging risk zone of earthquake. Zone 4 falls in, Delhi falls in zone 4, so it is on the second most highest risk zone of falling prey to earthquake. So on a Richter scale, most of the earthquake here are at a magnitude of 5, 6, and 7, and some areas also get an magnitude of earthquake of about 8. So even an earthquake of this intensity occurs, moving cars becomes an uncontrollable, and poor construction buildings can also fall and be damaging the surrounding areas. Now, because it is very densely populated, the surrounding areas will have a repercussion that, suppose the buildings are close by, so if one building falls onto the another building, that will cause a damage, which is like a more like a domino effect. So the movement of the earth are both omen of a possible earthquake. So the thrust in the Himalayas are moving at a very at a varying speed for 1 to 2 centimeter per year. So along the Nahant Rasai, that is 5.8 centimeter per year, along the Himalayan thrust, and about zero point 0.9 centimeter per year at a Karol thrust near Kalsi. These are the earthquake expectancy that we are talking about, that how the our Indian subcontinent is thrusting into the Eurasian subcontinent, and every area has a different speed of thrusting under the Eurasian plates. So this varying speed is also giving rise to the friction and the earthquake in that area. All right. Now, floods in Delhi. So, nature cannot make it, cannot change it. So, we have Yamuna River, which is flowing almost from the center of the city, and hence the duration and cause of the these floods in these areas will be also varying. So nature cannot be more abused, hence the degradation caused by the to the environment for the city that has been ever expanding. So we have been abusing the nature so much that if you go to Delhi, you will see on the Yamuna bank there have been very many illegal constructions, and these illegal constructions are the basic cause of the upwelling of the river waters, because river banks will eventually have inflow of water, which will result into inundation. So if you build your housing and your settlement as areas on the banks of the river, your house or your settlement area will be inundated by the flood water, because water has to take out its way, right? So the flood in Delhi are not nature's wrongdoing, but it is an irresponsibility and authority of the authorities, and insensitive way of growing your household or your settlements in the banks of the river. So it is basically initiated by the economic, so because economic status of the people also. So people who are, you know, moving from a rural sector to the urban area has a lower economic buying capacity, so they cannot afford area buy a house or any land in place which is safer from any hazards. So they will see areas and lands where it is left vacant. They will build their houses wherever it is vacant. So where it is vacant, Yamuna bank is the vacant place, so they have started building their houses on the banks of the Yamuna river. So now it has been seen that with every rainy season, these banks are facing flash floods and flood like situation because of the choking of the natural drainage system of that region, or and the choking of the rivers that is happening. So water will eventually break its bank and come in and then inundate the urban areas, right? So it's an obvious thing. So if you see here in this picture, this is a drainage flowing in an Yamuna. So this is a Yamuna river, all right, and these are the low-lying areas which has its own natural drainage. And if you see now the level of urban settlement that has happened, these urban natural drainage has been choked up by the by covering all these areas with the constructions. And the by choking up all these areas will result that water will come eventually and will inundate the low lying areas, and the small drainage river system that is there in these areas, and they will eventually be flooded, right? So any settlement in these areas will have the repercussion of flooding. So flooded Yamuna inundates low-lying areas in Delhi. So how it happens? The Yamuna River flow above a danger mark after a gap of every 5 years. So touching about 205 meter. This is about 1 meter above the red, the mark of danger. The water level in Yamuna is rising constantly as Haryana is releasing about 25 cubic meter of water every day. So 25,000 cubic water of released in the river have will inundate the field along the riverbeds and also the villages in the low-lying areas of the Delhi. So many houses have been submerged and forcing the people to take shelter and roof on the rooftop of their houses, and many have moved their belongings using making makeshift boats to surface of the drier areas. So flood vulnerability, how do we do that? The city has been experiencing flood for various magnitudes in the past due to uh, floods in the Yamuna and the Najafgarh drainage system being choked up by the ever explosive expansion of the settlements. Yamuna crossed its danger line level in 25 times during last 33 years. So since 1900, Delhi has been experiencing six major floods in the years. So in 1924, before independence, then 47 during post independence, 60, 76, 78, 88, 95, and when at the peak level of Yamuna has been one of the seen in the past years, in past 30 decades. And in fact now, even now in nowadays, Yamuna every year is causing inundation in the area. So this is a flood prone villages that has been at the areas of the Delhi as a state. Okay, so this is a completely flooded area. This is a very low lying area. So if you compare it with the drainage image above which I've shown you, and the image with this are showing these are the low lying areas that has been flooded, and this is a Yamuna river. So it is tend to that the water starts inundating it inundates here and it moves here, and with the the small drainage system, they also feeding these low lying areas with water and affecting this. This is a study in the year 1991. Now this has gone quite a high level. The major flood in Delhi was in 1977, that is Navdargarh's drainage experiencing a heavy flood due to the discharge of Sahib River, and the drainage breached about six places between the Dhanas and Kharkoli area. So, marooning a number of villages in the Navdarganj block. Six human lives were lost due to the house collapse, and 14% died in a boat mishap. So, crop damage was also estimated about to be a of 10 million rupees. In 78 September, Yamuna River experienced a devastating flood, spreading and breaching an area and rural embankment, submerging about 43 square kilometers of an agricultural land, about 2 meters of water, causing total loss of about kharif crop. In addition to this, the colonies of North Delhi, namely Model Town, Mukherjee Nagar, and Khari colony, etc., were the sufferer of heavy flooding and inundation in these regions. In 88 also, experiencing flooding in the Mukherjee Nagar area, then Geeta colony, Shastri Park, Yamuna Bazar, Red Fort region affected by and about 8,000 people were 8,000 families were affected by the floods. So these are in every year you will come across the due to the flooding. There is a large part of Delhi which gets inundated, and large portion of families are displaced and disturbed, and their livelihood is lost because of these flooding. Then we have fire accidents. Because it's an urban setup, there is a fire accident. Accidents are very common. So the fire services statistics in Delhi had more than 7,500 fire incidents during the last 5 years. In 1995 to 96, and to 1999 to 2000, resulting more than 1825 deaths, injuring to more than 7,600 persons, and loss of our property valuing more than 176 crore rupees. These incidences include major 25 serious and 19 medium fires. That echoes I'm talking about the fire accidents. The very tragic tragic fire accident that has happened was Upahar movie hall, Upahar cinema hall, that caught fire, and have the people did not die of burning. The people died of suffocation. It had happened uh, quite a long period of time, long back in 1900s. In 1999, the Paha fire accident had happened. So about 70% of the fires that is estimated is because of the open lining electric wires which is running in the old settled part of the state, of the city. So the it is electrical caused short circuited are about the fires that is originating in these areas. The 70% is because of the carelessness of the authorities as well as the citizens. Electric short circuit results many of the illegally loose connections of tapping of the electricity in these pole lines. So there are people who are illegally tapping electricity from the open line here. So that can result up for a short circuit. So illegal tapping of electricity forming an overhead line through use of loose hooks has been a common sight in Delhi, and are the common cause of electric fire accidents in these regions. So they are extremely vulnerable to fire risk, and resulting a you know uh, initiating a fire, electric based fire accidents, which is a very harmful situation. Now talking about Upahar accidents that has happened in 97, the Upahar cinema fire is one of the worst fire tragedy that has hit the city. It occurred on the Friday, that is the June 13th. Friday the 13th, if you say that, Friday the 13th being the big bad omen. So in 1997, Friday the 13th June was the bad days for many people losing their lives. So about 59 people died and 103 people were seriously injured, gravely injured. All right. So it was a bad day for about 59 people in the Upahar Cinema Hall. Now, what happened here is, it was a Friday night, the first day, first day for any movie to release. People, there are many influx of people who are going up for this movie. Now, if you go to Delhi in this, in the Green Park area, it was a premier, screening movie hall in that time. Okay, so this Upahar cinema hall still stands. The building is still standing. You can see this board still standing there. So there were people, about 59 people died immediately due to burning and suffocation for the eruption of the fire. The most of the victims were entrapped on the balcony, and they tried to reach the exit to escape the smoke and fire, but found the door being locked. So hence it was in that time where fire precautions and fire standards were not followed by many of the organizations. Like here, in Upaha Cinema, so there were no fire extinguishers there. At the exit of the cinema hall were sealed. So hence, if you go nowadays into any cinema hall, you will see that any of the exits are not locked. The doors can be shut, but they are not locked, because they are, for in case of any emergency, these are the escape routes that people can escape from. All right. So they lacked in the standards of following a fire accidents. So the fire broke about in the afternoon, that is about 10 hours after the transformation of the park. The parking level bursted. The transformer of the parking, it bursted, and so the fire started because of the electric short circuit. The fire services arrived there later because of the heavy evening traffic. So it was an evening time which has happened, and the fire services could not reach the time in time. So at least 48 fire tenders were passing through the services, and about 5:20 p.m. it took for more than an hour to take down the fire. By the time it was late, and many people were dead and injured. Okay, they were transformed to nearby hospitals like Safdarjung and Ames. All right, so that was a very bad incidence of people going out for a you know uh, uh, movie in the Friday release. So then Delhi had faced terrorism. uh, Delhi, being a capital of the city, the political head, it has faced many terrorist attacks, like Parliament attack, then Red Fort bomb blast. Uh, these had caused people, then we have riots. There are also riots can be initiated by the people internally. All right. So they have resulted a lot of losses to the life. Now, attack on Indian Parliament was also a strong jolt to the uh, Indian administrative part. Now, terrorists on Delhi, uh, in Delhi, that is the 13th December, attacked the Parliament of India, and resulting in about 45 minutes of gun battle, in which 9 policemen and Parliament staff were killed. All 5 terrorists were also killed by the security forces and were identified as a Pakistani nationals. So we have an age-old fight from our neighbor, the Pakistani. I would say the Pakistani government, not the people, but we had this age-old conflicts with that government. I don't know why, what is the reason, but they have this constant conflict going on with their neighboring countries. So it was found out that the anti peace people in that country had initiated this work in they are not the state authority, but more of a local authorities who have initiated this activity in the country. Okay. So that is another threat, because we have what do you call enemies, surrounded by many enemies, like parliament attack happened because of Pakistan's initiation. Similarly, if you remember, Rajiv Gandhi's um attack on Rajiv Gandhi was due to LTTE. That was also a terrorist organization working in the southern part, that is the southern part of our country. All right. It was initiated because of the you know uh, what do you call, political and geopolitical agenda between the two nation of India and Sri Lanka, and a local stakeholder working in Sri Lanka. So it was initiated because of that, and the Tamil uh, sympathizer had this problem with the country, with our country. So that was another initiation that has happened on Rajiv Gandhi. Similarly, we have other enemies like China. We have enemies uh, in the west. We have Pakistan. So we are surrounded by many enemy countries who are constantly thriving to create certain unrestness into the country. Then Pakistan has attempted quite a lot of unrestfulness in the country, like Delhi attack, Mumbai attack. They are a common phenomena that we have been seeing in the country for a since post independence, if you say. So terrorism related incidents in Delhi, like April 14th, 14 persons, including a woman and a girl, were injured in two bomb explosion inside a Jama Masjid. Jama Masjid being one of the biggest mosque in the country and the world also. It is a recognized largest mosque in the world. All right. So there was an explosion that also happened in these areas. So Delhi soon after the evening prayer, it was investigated a low intensity and crude bomb that was blasted in these regions. Then we have in October 29, 2005, at least 26 persons were killed, and 155 were injured in three powerful series of bombs explosion in the national capital in October 29th. All right, so in this time, this explosion happened in various places in the Delhi. So Delhi has been facing this terrorist attack for since the post-independent time. All right. Then in May 22, 2005, two explosion triggered by a crude device in two cinema halls in Delhi during the screening of a Hindi film, the Jo Bole Sonihal, was a movie which was screened in there, and one person was dead, uh, and at least 60 people were injured in that blast. Then we have in August 11, 2001, two persons were injured when the bomb exploded in South Extension, Delhi, head for an independence celebration in 2015. So characteristics of city that makes it more vulnerable to the terrorism is that it is being a capital. It is being a politically capital of the city. Many important facilities and vicinities are there in the city, and it is, and if this city is hampered because of the terrorist attack, a lot of loss will happen in this area, also contributing to density of population also very high. So that will also impact a large number of people being victim to it. Now road accidents in Delhi is very common. People there's a often seen that road accidents are happening in these regions. All right. The fatal accidents in Delhi, this is a graph of showing 2 years of fatal accidents, and in fact up to 2005 also, if you see, the road accidents are happening, and people who are killed in road accidents are also fatal accidents are also quite a alarming statistics that has been given. The person kills in road accidents in 2003, 2004, and 5, because it is coming down, declining. In 2003, maybe the implementation of the strong implementation of road safety rules were not implemented. That's why the high incident of persons killed in the road accidents were high, and so it is declining. But road accidents are high during 2004. Reasons could have been something else, but it was 2003 also had a high road accident totality road accident, but 2004 had the maximum number of accidents in 2004, and 2005 had a quite a decline in road accidents, maybe because of the implementation, proper implementation of road safety rules. Then hazardous industries, there are many hazardous industries manufacturing and dealing with hazardous chemicals and metals that can that is making the city vicinity more prone to industrial accidents, and gas leaks and radiation and chemical spills can causing deaths. Okay, then hazardous industries dealing with high explosive materials can also put a life into threat. All right, so you can have take up urban disaster completely on chemical based or industry based accidents. Okay, and this is all we are concluding with our lecture. So you can go to your LMS and attempt a quiz related to urban disaster. What is urban disaster, and what are the various forms, what are the threats, what is vulnerability of urban disaster, and what are the factors which is acting upon urban disaster. So this concludes our lecture, and we will see you in the next lecture. Have a nice day.